aberrations that we have seen. But let's have it.
With his PDP membership card. I think the only past president who is still in PDP is Jonathan. I think so. So do you think left unresolved, what are the implications for our democracy?
Let me ask songs. We know them. But because PDP had not been able to come together to offer what they promised, what have they fulfilled? So I think the emergence of PDP now as a very opposition party will make APC party and government sit up and perform. Because the reality we should dawn on them that we have it was because some of us got power drunk. It's good for us that we have come together, and we thank we thank God first and foremost that the judiciary was able to finally give justice, not just using technical nonsense to confuse the situation further. I don't want to go that line. Otherwise, the judiciary also complicated our problem. Appreciate.
No question for you before we let you go on the show today. Just yesterday, a group was in the news. They call themselves the Reform Group of the People's Democratic Party, asking specifically that the Senator Ahmed McAfee should demand immediate sanction of Senator Ali Modu Sharif. They said a big danger and impunity, however, awaits the party if Sharif is not punished, as this may create a to elements to undermine the party without remorse. Do you agree with this, sir?
I don't agree at all. And I alluded to that aspect of your question now in my earlier submission. If you say Ali Sharif, Professor Ladipo, and others have committed crime by going to court, what about those who really made it impossible for us to choose the correct cheated that 5 governors at a time, at a single blow, opted out of PDP and became the bastion of support for APC? What do you do to those functionaries in government, in the party? I had opportunity to talk to the former president. If he sees my picture today, he may. I have been in the system since the days of the MPN. I was the presidential liaison officer in Oyo State under Shagari, and we knew how we were running the party. We knew how we were running the government, and I took advantage of such experience to say that we were not doing it right. We were marginalizing a whole geographical zone in the last few years of our last government. What did the Southwest get? What did we get? So I said all this. So, do to people who really committed crimes against the constitution of the party to throw us into tatters, who refused to do the right thing as laid down by the constitution. So, my best advice is that let us forget the immediate past. The Yoruba will say, "Ekun lo bakun wa." It's when you weep that you blow your nose and you have all the dirty things. Now that those dirty things are now put behind us, let's come together and let us learn some fundamental lessons from our immediate, at least technically, is in the position of minority. How do we become a majority? Without the power of equivalency, without buoyant economic resources, you have to bring all our people together and let people who are now having a second thought of going to APC rethink and say, I think our original home is better. And find some of them coming back. That's the only way we can do it, by my own assessment. So, no sanctions. As far as I'm concerned, Sanctions, this is not the time for applying any sanction. Let us start to apply sanctions after we will have come together. After we will have elected our leaders from the world to the local government, to the state, and then national convention. When we have, that is the point we can start to apply sanction, not now.
Thank you so very much, sir, for your contributions to Galaxy today, this morning. Thank you very much for your opinion. That's Mr. Saka Balogun. He's a PDP leader in Oyo State. All right, back to Barrister Wokedi. You heard the PDP leader there.
Yeah, he spoke well. And he also
what has happened with the PDP, with all that has happened in history in 2015, 2013, when they even had to form a new PDP, you know, with 5 governors and of course.
Belong to, they were like, Joe, you always have sympathy for PDP. I said, I have sympathy for PDP because the human rights group, from civil society groups and all that will back them up, because the target of the ruling party will be how to emasculate the opposition so that they can do whatever they are. No longer a ruling party. They are no longer a ruling party.
Okay.
So if they have that consciousness in them, they have that truth, they have that knowledge that they are no longer the ruling party, they have to. When the Obasanjo was there as the president, when Jonathan was there, when Yar'Adua was there,